But anyways, back with Aang, he seems to be excelling at waterbending, but his grief about his race being dead holds him back. This is a good idea which the show didn't look into in the first season. They totally did in the other seasons though. For example, Aang had to let go of his past so he could master the Avatar state. Or, in the third season, he was afraid that if he learned firebending that he'd hurt someone like he did with Katara.
Aang, can we talk about you learning firebending now? What? The wind is too loud in my ears!
Speaking of which, there's another character that this film doesn't have. Anyway, he just leaves his friends behind when the Fire Nation is chasing after them. What a great friend. Anyway, he goes to the Northern Air Temple. Oh, so I guess we're gonna meet the mechanist. Nope, we meet this guy, who wasn't in the show at all. Goody.
Yes, who are you? Oh, it cannot be. I've heard stories. Are you?
My name is Aang.
I cannot believe I've lived to see your return.
He takes him to a room filled with statues of his past lives. Wrong temple, but I have to admit, the set design does look pretty good when they don't rely on special effects. Maybe this is where all the money went. That's the last positive note I'll give this movie.
Now, how did the Airbenders know you were the Avatar, little one?
They gave me a test. They put 1,000 toys in front of me and asked me to choose 4. I said I chose the same 4 objects that belonged to the previous avatars. That's when they told me I could have no family. They told me I had a responsibility to the 4 nations. There's a ceremony when everyone bows to me. That's when I accept my role as the Avatar. But when everyone bowed, I didn't bow back.
Here's the problem I was talking about earlier. There's no way to prove that there is no Avatar ceremony because Aang ran away before then. Why? Because he was losing his social life, and they were going to separate him from the one person he'd come to love as a father, Monk Gyatso. And he thought if that was the risk that he had to take to be the Avatar, then he didn't want to be the Avatar.
I don't know what to say. How could they do that to me? They wanted to take away everything I knew and everyone I loved! Whoa! Hot centers!
And the tragic part was, he ran away just before Gyatso came to collect him because he didn't want to be away from Aang either. There was no bullshit about not having a family. It was a sad backstory full of emotions. And that's the main problem everyone has with the movie. There is no emotion between any of the characters. These 3-dimensional characters with individual personalities as 1-dimensional blank slates. I'm sorry if you've heard this before, but there's no point in not repeating the truth. But anyway, there's still more movie to go. So the old man betrays him for the stupidest reason ever.
I have lived in poverty because of your absence, Avatar. So you will understand my actions today.
So because of Aang, the Fire Nation took over and left you in poverty. So you work for the people who left you poor in the first place? Also, how did this plan work? Did he somehow message the Fire Nation without Aang realizing it? Or were the archers just waiting behind those statues in case the man found the Avatar? And how did they know that Aang was going to be here? Or is this just one of many trap locations? And why is the old man surprised to see the Avatar here even though he was supposed to be waiting on him? So no, old man, and yes, they never give him a name, I don't understand your actions today. In fact, to put it simply,
I have so many questions!
So Aang gets captured by the Fire Nation again, but he goes into the spirit world and talks to the dragon again, who informs him about the Fire Nation's plan to take the Northern Water Tribe. Even though technically this should be the place where he finds out about the comet, but this film cares so little about its source material, why should we at this point? And he tells him to go to the Water Tribe, even though he was already going there and is currently in chains. But he's soon rescued by a mysterious figure, and they have a quick fight between the Fire Nation before his rescuer becomes his new captor.
Why are you doing this? Who are you? Open the gates!
But once they make it across the bridge, Aang's kidnapper is knocked out by an arrow, and is revealed to be Zuko, who wants to stop Zhao from turning in the Avatar so he can go home to the Fire Nation. Aang airbends some fog so they can escape, and apparently leaves Zuko for dead. By the way, have you noticed that Appa kinda sucks in this movie? He flew away back in the village when they got captured, and he just kinda disappeared here. At least their relationship is still there. Anyways, Aang might as well have left Zuko for dead, because when he gets back to his ship, he discovers a trap by Zhao, which just comes down to bad timing. Meanwhile, back in Aang, they finally reach the Northern Water Tribe, and they look unrealistically bored by it. They meet Princess Yue, played by Shaquille Gabriel, who later voiced Asami in Legend Korra, one half of Korrasami. So there's one good thing that came out of this movie. Also, yes, she has an interesting choice in hairstyle. Grow up. They tell them the plan that the Fire Nation has, so they can prepare for it.
If we keep them to the courtyard and the marketplace till night falls, where we have the advantage, we will succeed. If we let too many of them into this city, their sheer numbers could overwhelm us. As many fires in this city should be put out as possible when the alarm sounds. We want to minimize their bender sources.
Oh, I almost forgot. The firebenders in this film can't firebend without an already existing fire. I don't know how they got that wrong, seeing how it's the first thing we learn about firebending.
No, power in firebending comes from the breath, not the muscles. The breath becomes energy in the body. The energy extends past your limbs and becomes fire. Get it right this time.
So how did these people manage to take over the world? Well, apparently in this version, Sozin's comet gives them the ability to create fire. Let's pretend that makes sense, and realize that Sozin's comet only comes around once every 100 years. That's like 99 years that the others can push them back. I mean, this is how the whole thing should have gone.
Haha, you're going to bow to my power.
But the comet's gone.
Well, yes, but for you see, I still have this. Now you're gonna bow. Well, even if this matches out, I'm gonna burn down your village. Well, right. Well, I'm just gonna go home then.
Okay, see you at the family reunion.
Yeah. So Aang and Katara are being taught by this guy, who I guess is supposed to be Master Paku. I say I guess because he's never named. Also, his whole story arc in relation to Katara is gone, which is weird because he's partly responsible for why she's wearing that necklace. That's like Frodo having the Ring of Power but not explaining how it's linked to Sauron. And again, it's not like he and Katara had a big epic fight over their personal beliefs and feelings, and it's not like he served a bigger purpose later on.
Water is what?
The flowing element, the element of change.
As Master Water, you must release your emotions wherever they may lead you. Water teaches us acceptance. Let your emotions flow like water.
Wow, I'm pretty sure that's the exact opposite of the philosophy of waterbending. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the philosophy of firebending. Anyway, let's check on the Sokka and Yui romance.
I've loved spending these weeks with you, Sokka.
Me too.
Should we see what the ocean is doing today?
I imagine it's doing what it's usually doing.
When there is some safety for all of us, I will come visit our sister city in the Southern Water Tribe and spend some time in your home.
That would be great. But I warn you, my grandmother will ask ask you a lot of questions.
What might she ask me?
Well, she'll say, "Why is your hair white, young lady? You look very odd."
Oh, that's why I've never gotten a date. Here I was trying to be nice to them when I should have been mocking them.
My hair's white because when I was born, I was not awake. My mother and father could not get me to make a sound.
So yeah, she says her backstory about how she was anointed by the moon spirit because she was pretty much dead when she was born. And then we cut back to Katara and Aang, who... Did the editor forget to add in the water in that scene? Because he's been doing that a lot in this movie. You have Brender's prison, the river, and now here. Clearly nothing but time, effort, and care went into this movie. Maybe they couldn't tell where the water was supposed to be, because the bend in this movie is nothing but random arm movements. But enough of that, Zhao and the Fire Nation have arrived, along with Iroh, who stowed away Zuko in order to help him. Zuko sneaks into the city while Aang realizes that he should probably ask where the spirits he's supposed to protect are. So he asks for a spiritual place to meditate in, and he's given one, which, unbeknownst to him, contains the spirits that he's looking for.
To get your airbending tattoos, you have to meditate for long periods of time, without losing focus. Some of the great monks can meditate for 4 days.
1, no you don't. 2, no one blurts out random information like that. Look who's talking. Hey, shut up! During his meditation, Katara decides to guard him and also tries to talk to him.
Can you hear me? I knew you were real. I always knew you returned.
How about some quiet? Come on, guys, I can hear every word you're saying.
Also, was that supposed to be the start of their romance? Because I feel more connection with my dentist when I have a checkup. But Zuko somehow managed to sneak past Sokka and Yui, and he starts a fight with Katara, which he unrealistically manages to trick her into losing. So he takes Aang away while the two armies clash, and I realise that they somehow managed to forget to dim the lanterns. Whoops. Anyway, I guess Aang finally gets a good connection to the spirit world, outside the spiritual place, where he ends up having an intense scene with a spirit known as the Face Stealer, and he must keep a calm face so he can get the information he wants and keep his face in the process. Or at least he would, but that would require showing emotion in the first place. No, he just talks to the dragon spirit again. And is it just me, or does talk to the dragon spirit sound like a metaphor for getting high? So he gets some very important advice. So important that Shyamalan thought he would replace 2 whole characters with him.
Use the ocean. Show them the power of water.
Thanks, O Wise Dragon, I can see why you were in this movie. So he wakes up after that great advice to find Zuko rambling about his backstory. And much like the audience, Aang wants to get far away from such exposition. They fight for a bit before Katara freezes Zuko. And as they leave, Aang unfreezes Zuko's head so he can live.
You won't be killed by waterbenders if you stay hidden here. We can be friends, you know.
Meanwhile, Zhao captures the moon spirit and kills it, turning the moon red. Instead of black, which would have made some cool effects like it did in the show, but the film's dark enough already, and leaves the waterbenders defenseless. Iroh scares them off by showing him that he's the only firebender that can actually bend fire himself. later convinces Yue that the only way that she can save her people is to sacrifice her life, as she was given life by the moon spirit.
This was the reason I was born.
Yue, please don't do this. There must be another way. I can't let you do this. I'm supposed to protect you.
My people are dying, Sokka. Those who are in charge of others have a responsibility. It's time we show the Fire Nation that we believe in our beliefs as much as they believe in theirs.
What the hell did you just say?
She does, and the moon comes back. And Aang, instead of fusing with the ocean spirit to scare off the Fire Nation, just raises a wave. I'm gonna repeat that for non-fans of the show that might be watching. Instead of fusing with a godlike being, he goes, "Look what I can do, now go away!" Meanwhile, Zhao and Zuko meet, and instead of the epic battle we got that ended up with the ocean spirit taking revenge, Iroh tells Zuko that he's not worth it, and Zhao gets killed by some random waterbenders. So the day is saved, and Aang finally accepts his role as the Avatar. But isn't him learning waterbending him already accepting his role? Ah, forget it, we got some sequel baiting to do!
Ah, Sozin's comet is returning in 3 years. It will give all firebenders the ability of the highest firebenders, the ability to use their own chi to create fire.
3 years? It was a few months in the show. Why am I surprised that they changed that?
Now, you must stop the Avatar from mastering earth and fire. You must give us the time to get to that day. Do you accept this unspeakably important task I'm putting in your hands?
I do, Father.
Hi, Azula! Bye, Azula. And so that was The Last Airbender. It's as bad as people say it is. This movie is what the show would be like if there was just another dumb kids show. It's emotionless and it makes little sense. But there are some parts that are good, like the set design and the costumes are all on point, but the cast and the special effects are just dreadful. But according to Shyamalan, we did like it, we just didn't realize it. I implore you to watch the show because it's nothing like this. Well, that's this video done. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got better things to watch. So, until next time, I'm 3D and this movie ruined our childhood memories. Okay, let's see, what else is there? Oh, Ruby.